was now re-put and repurposed on those iPhone 12. So that's another huge plus in my opinion. Now beyond that, that camera setup on the back was one of the biggest changes that we saw, I think, from the 3rd generation to the 4th generation, mostly because it did have that LiDAR sensor. It had the additional ultra-wide sensor too, which is cool. But with that LiDAR sensor, that's something that we did see on the next version of iPhones, which were the iPhone 12s. Now this camera setup, you have the 12 megapixel wide angle lens, then a 10 megapixel ultra wide sensor. And what I can tell you at the end of the day is that this camera setup I think is still extremely good. You can do 4K at 60 on the top tier on both iPad Pros, but you can even do that on the iPad Air 4, which is another kind of interesting thing in my opinion. Now one thing that I really do like about these iPads is that if you really need to, you can just use this iPad as a substitute for a lot of other iPhones out there, including, the iPhone, 10, iPhone XS, iPhone 11, iPhone 12 Pro. If you for some reason don't have those iPhones at your disposal right now, you can just use this iPad Pro and still get really, really good quality photos and videos from it. And that's a huge thing. Now in my case, even though I have a lot of iPhones and I review and compare even a lot of Androids, there are times where all my phones are being used, sometimes for battery comparisons, and basically for battery comparisons the only time it happens. And I like having an iPad around the house so I can go ahead and just use it and film videos with and things like that. And in this specific case, having an iPad Pro is going to do you so well, and even several months after its release, it still holds up extremely well in the specific camera department. So in terms of the camera, it still holds up in the later part of 2020 for sure. Now software wise,